Hi everyone, my name is Bobby Lanyon. I am Jack's dad, and I am so thankful for all your feedback that we're getting through email and also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We love hearing back from you guys about how encouraging these conversations about being a part of a special needs family are to you. If you have anything that you'd like to share with us, you can send it to us at jacksdadblog@gmail.com. You can also send it to us on Facebook, Jack's Dad. Instagram and Twitter is Jack's Dad Blog. We just love hearing back from you guys. And everything that you send to me from our guests, I send right on to them so they can also be involved in the conversation about encouraging other families where there's someone with special needs in that family. My guest today, her name is Erica Burch, and man, if there is someone who has integrity to share with other parents and other family members who are going through a trial, Erica is that person, and I'm super glad that she agreed to join us. So stay tuned, and we'll see if we can get her on the line. Erica, thanks for joining me. This is really cool. It's been a long time since we've been able to chat and hang out, and I'm super excited about our viewers getting to hear your story and just be really encouraged by it, because when someone says to me, who is a person who is super strong and has been through incredible challenges, you are pretty much the first person that comes to my mind.
Thank you. That's kind of you to say.
So I remember actually the first time that we actually got to hang out, Raymond was just a little baby, and you guys were going through some pretty incredible I don't even know what the word is. It's like, because you were basically going through hell. Share with you a little bit about how you began your journey in the special needs world.
Of course. Well, our journey began on February 15th, 2009 at 3:30 in the morning.
That you'll never forget that moment.
I'll never forget that. He made his appearance 10 weeks early, and they rushed me in to the operating room for a C-section, and all of a sudden they showed me this teeny tiny little baby, and they whisked him away. So when we finally had the opportunity to go into the NICU, that is when we were given the news that Raymond, they believed, had Down syndrome. And it was very upsetting. I was shocked because we had testing done at the very strong recommendation of our OB because of some health problems that Raymond, was having while I was pregnant with him. And they told us, nope, everything looks good. There's no problems with the baby. So we hadn't given any type of, genetic diagnosis a second thought.
Sure.
So when we were told this, it was very shocking. And at that point, I didn't know anyone that had Down syndrome. And I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what that meant for us, for Raymond, for his siblings. It was very much a scary place to be. Because
did you even know anyone? Did you even know anyone with Down syndrome beforehand?
No.
You had
none. We had a friend whose sister had Down syndrome, but she was older and she had been institutionalized, so I had never met her. And that was the only thing that I could really associate with it, and that was that was scary. That wasn't something that I wanted for our son.
Mm.
Uh, so we were going through that, and fast forward a few weeks, and I was introduced first on the phone to this beautiful soul named Michelle Lanyon. And who happens to be Jack's mom.
That's right.
Yes, the NICU physical therapist. She
Oh,
connected us
that's
because
right.
our boys
I
were only born
totally
a week
forgot
apart.
this story. I totally
Yeah.
forgot. What was her name?
Maureen?
Maureen.
Maureen?
Yes, Maureen.
Yeah.
How amazing
hmm
she was.
She was a wonderful, wonderful woman. I just fell in love with her. She was incredible. And she thought that Michelle and I would be a good support to each other. And I can't speak for Michelle, but I know during that time she was really what I needed,
Oh,
because
wow.
Michelle was someone who knew what I was going through as a mother, and I could say things to her that I felt like I couldn't say to other people, with how scared I was, and what was going to happen. And
Mm.
she was having all of those same feelings. So it was nice to have someone to be vulnerable with,
Yeah.
in those times of things being so unknown.
Wow. She's going to
So
love to hear that. She's going to.
that's my wonderful Michelle story.
Wow. I had totally forgotten that Maureen was the connection between you and Michelle.
That's right. That's right.
Wow. So,
Mm.
how long was Raymond in the NICU for?
6 months. He was in
Wow.
6 months. We went back and forth between the NICU in Bethlehem and the NICU in Philadelphia.
Okay.
hmm
So, and what, man, what was that like?
It was awful.
Yeah.
To be honest, it was like a whirlwind. Every day it was something new. They were giving us new information. They were doing new tests, giving us a new diagnosis. Now, I would like to point out, though, that a lot of Raymond's medical diagnosis, it was not because of Down syndrome. It was because he was very premature. And a lot of his organs did not develop properly yet. So he does have some heart conditions which are related to his trisomy 21, but most of the health struggles that he had were because he was so premature.
Sure. Can you share with us what those diagnoses are?
Yes. So it started out, well, I'll just list them. That'd probably be the easiest thing. His whole gamut of things. He has a collapsed lung. It will always be collapsed because it just never properly developed. He was on oxygen for almost 8 years. He's not now. His body has learned to cope with only using one lung. He had partially detached retinas. He had seizures. He was diagnosed with cutaneous leukemia when he was 5 days old. He had several hernias that needed to be repaired. He could not eat by mouth, so he had an NG tube, which led to a full-blown G tube, which he had for a very, very long time. He was tube fed a long time. Heart conditions. He has several heart conditions. There's a lot.
He's
It's
a
a little,
fighter.
yeah, he says it's been a little bit everything, but you would never know.
Mm.
He is so incredible, and he is so tough, and you would just never know that he struggles with these things because he's just such a little fighter. and he has
Now,
such a zest for life.
how old is Raymond now?
11.
He's 11. Oh, that's right,
Yeah.
because, yeah, Jack's 11. Okay. So, wow, he's 11 already. I just cannot believe that.
I can't believe the boys are that old. Can you remember being in our living room and Jack was just sitting up and Raymond couldn't sit up yet, but they were next to each other. I remember them being so small next to each other, and now they're just so big.
Yeah. And Raymond, he's gotten tall, I see.
He is tall. The pediatrician always likes to tell me that he is tall for a boy his age that has Down syndrome. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
see, Jack got the well-built body type. He is short and stocky. I actually, now that you are actually reminding me of these stories, because I totally forgot that
Mhm.
time when we went to your place.
Yeah.
And I remember the boys, and I actually remember your husband feeding him
Mhm.
through
Yeah.
the tube,
Through the through the
and that
yeah.
was actually my first exposure, because Raymond, I think he was on oxygen, and I think he was also on. He had another kind of IV or something
Yeah.
like that,
Monitors,
and
lots of things he was hooked up.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
wow, all these memories are flooding back to my
Yeah.
memory. Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
Erica, man.
Hmm.
So through all of this, you've had some battles, I'm sure. What were they like? What were those battles for you, if you don't mind me asking?
Like for my personal struggles, is
Yeah,
that what you mean?
yeah.
Well, in the beginning, in the very, very beginning, after Raymond was born, um, I struggled with why. Why I had been chosen to be a mother of a child with special needs, because I just thought they didn't really sign up for this. This wasn't what I had envisioned for, our son. And, in hindsight, it's sort of silly, but at the time, it's a very real emotion.
Yeah,
And I remember saying, I had many conversations with God back then, and I said, "What did I do to deserve this? I've been a good person, and I've done what I thought I should do." And it's funny now. I say the same thing when I have those conversations, like, what did I do to deserve this? But in a much different way, because He is so amazing, and
mm,
He has brought so much joy to our lives and other people's lives, that I I don't know what I did to deserve to have him, because he's completely amazing. But in the beginning, I struggled with that, and I still struggle with it sometimes. Um, I think about the future, and I really need to focus on the now. I think,
mm-hmm.
what will happen to him when he's 30? Oh my, those types of worries, and I just try to remind myself that focus on the now, this week, next month. Don't worry about what's going to happen. When he's an adult. Focus on what I can control now.
Sure, sure.
And
So, at
that's
what point did you feel like that changed for you? And what was kind of the process that you went through, and through your heart and in your mind changed for you to get to a point where you can actually say, no, you know what, in the beginning I was asking God why from a really bad place, and
hmm
now I'm asking God why from a really good place.
yes, yes. Well, the shift, I think the shift really started to happen as Raymond. Okay, so I'll go back and say was, when he was 5 days old, is when they told us he had cutaneous leukemia. And they said that we would never bring him home from the hospital, and that we should plan accordingly. So basically, they were telling us to plan his final arrangements. And those first 5 days, I was struggling with the Down syndrome diagnosis But when I received the diagnosis of the cutaneous leukemia, Down syndrome seemed really easy.
Like
It seemed
like
like,
nothing.
yeah, like, oh, well, that's not a deal now. And I had, like, especially my brother, um, people like him who were researching what it meant to have Down syndrome. And he was telling me all these wonderful things that he was reading
Mm,
online. And he was definitely a positive voice for me when I needed it. And but that's when the shift started to happen, where I said to myself, okay, Erica, your son, he needs you. You can't dwell on this one thing. It
mm,
is what it is, and you have to move on. So that's when things started to change. And also, it just it really did become not a big deal, because for a while, I mean, take away all of the medical things, he was just like every other baby. He was smiling at me, and, making little baby noises, and uh, he he just needed us. And
yeah.
Down syndrome just sort of like faded away, and it was all the other stuff. So the shift happened pretty quickly, but those first 5 days were, um, you know, not my best.
Yeah.
I have to. Mm-hmm.
Well, you need to give yourself that
Mm-hmm.
time. I mean,
Yeah.
there is a an element of grief that happens in every parent, and it's not just for parents who have kids with Down syndrome. It's for parents
Right.
who have kids that 5 days in without Down syndrome that get diagnosed with leukemia or
Right.
an
Mm-hmm.
aneurysm or something hasn't developed
Yeah.
properly in vitro. But um, I think it's important as we go through this society, and it's really good that more and more people are having this conversation and
Mm-hmm.
sharing. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
it 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 was terrible in the beginning because, like just like you, we had no idea it was coming.
Mm-hmm.
But then as time goes on, and you get to know your child, and your child
Yeah.
looks at you, and you start to see that he laughs at the silliest
Right.
things,
Yes.
and um, you know, you know, just has their own personality that
Mm-hmm.
you can coach people through, or I don't want to say coach, maybe like encourage other
Mm-hmm.
people through step by step.
Yeah.
And I totally forgot that Michelle was a part of that for you, and she's gonna watch this video, and she's gonna start tearing up. I can tell you right now, because she shows me pictures of Raymond every now and again. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Erica, let me ask you this: what would you share with a mom who was where you were 11 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
And then what would you share with a mom who is where you are now, um, you know, a decade along, but yet still really struggling?
Well, I have been very, very fortunate that I have been able to have this conversation with many families, many moms, many dads. I have counseled many families who have received a diagnosis before birth and immediately after. So I know that it can be a very hard conversation for people to have, because their mind is spinning. So 11 years ago, the mother who's in the situation like I was in, you know, I would tell her that she can do this,
Mm,
that it seems overwhelming now, but she has everything she needs right inside her, in her heart, to do this. And that while it seems scary, it will soon, that fear and that unknown will just wash away, and all you'll be left with is love. And that's really what happens.
what a great encouragement.
Yes, yes. I Because I know that it's very scary, and that's what I would tell her. Now, a mother now who is struggling. And, Bobby, I think everyone has moments of struggle. We all ask ourselves, are we doing the right thing for our child? Is this the right decision? Should I be doing this? Should I not be? And what I like to tell people is, your child.
Mm-hmm.
Trust your gut, trust your instinct. That's if you have a child with special needs or not. That's any child. Just trust your gut instinct, because you know them, and you know what they need.
Yeah.
And that's what I would tell them. And it's everybody struggles from time to time. So
You know what? And it's good that you brought that up, because I know for myself, and I definitely know for Michelle, we ebb and flow based on the amount of sleep that we get, or that Jack allows us to get the night
yeah.
before. And what's cool is that we've always noticed that, one of us, both of us are never down at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
One of us is down, one of us is up, one of us is down, and so as a team, we can work together, and communication's a huge part of that, which is a whole nother conversation we could have. But but your insight is really encouraging, and I'm sure you have such integrity to share these things from the road that you've walked, and it just speaks so much volume coming from you. So I do have another question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I asked you to bring your favorite mug to the conversation, and I saw you bring it up before. Let me see it.
It's my Biddy and Bo mug.
It's your Biddy and Bo's mug. Now, for those who don't know, hold it up again. Biddy and Bo's Coffee is a coffee company started in Wilmington, North Carolina, and it is staffed completely by people with special needs. And you go there and you are treated so well, and the coffee is fantastic. In fact, we went there when we were on a vacation down that way one time. On Michelle's car right now, on her truck, she actually has a Biddy and Bo sticker on the back. We love it. What a great... What is that? What do you love about that mug?
Oh, I love so much about this mug. It's more than just a mug. It's really a symbol of the future that our kids have, because there is opportunity for them, and there are people who care enough to give them those opportunities. And if you are fortunate enough to go in a Biddy and Bo's, the warmth that not only the people who work there give you, but the other customers who have no one with, special needs in their lives, just the joy it brings them to go in there and get a cup of coffee and support these individuals. It's really heartwarming.
Yeah, that's fantastic. What a man. I'm gonna go get that mug. That's gonna be my tomorrow mug. The coffee mug I brought today was from the Soggy Dollar Bar in Joost Van Dyke in the British Virgin Islands. And if you've never been to the Soggy Dollar Bar down in British Virgin Islands, you have to do it. And do you know why they call it the Soggy Dollar Bar?
I do not know.
Well, because there's no dock, or there's no jetty which the boats can dock at, and so they all back in towards the beach, and you actually have to jump in and swim to the beach. So all your dollars are soggy. So they call it the Soggy Dollar Bar.
I like that.
Yeah,
Clever.
Michelle and I went there for our 10th anniversary.
Oh, that's nice.
So Erica, thank you so much for joining me. This was really a privilege of mine. And,
me.
And thank you for sharing.
Very proud that I can call you and Michelle my friends.
Oh, well, thank you. I totally forgot all those memories, and I'm so glad you brought them back, because
wives and mothers don't. She'll remember.
She will. Erica, thanks so much. All right. See you later.
Thank you.
Man, I'm sure that was a huge encouragement for you, as it was for me. I totally forgot some of those stories that happened between Jack and Raymond. life goes on. That was 11 years ago where we first connected with Erica and little Raymond and their other kids. And man, what a journey she has been through. We'd love to hear back from you. Send us a message, would you? jacksdadblog@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Jack's Dad Blog, and share this. I'm sure there is someone that you know who could be encouraged from Erica's story. And so if you know someone, which I'm sure you do, share it with them on Facebook. Just send the YouTube link to them through an email. However it is, text it to them. It doesn't matter. But if we can encourage people where there is someone where there's someone with special needs in their family, that is what we are all about. You see, no one said it would be easy, but it sure can be rewarding parenting kids with special needs. So my name is Bobby Lanyon. I am Jack's dad. Stay tuned. Subscribe here to YouTube, and so you will never miss an episode. Thanks very much. Bye.